I still talk to a lot of my leftist friends, even some that are a little more far left. And one of the most difficult things to communicate with them is that they still have a lot of trust in the Democratic Party and mainstream media that is controlled by or heavily influenced by the Democratic Party. And I think most of it comes from the fact that they are busy people, and they don't have time to listen to 2 hour podcasts or interviews from independent sources. We all know that mainstream media has a terrible format where they just do sound clips or sound bites, and that allows a lot of room for spin. And that's why we love independent journalists like Tim Pool or Joe Rogan, because they go through long interviews where people have the ability to explain their entire stance. Most recently, I can think of course, is how in the debates, the first debate with Chris Wallace moderating, he brought up the Proud Boys as white supremacists. And just yesterday, Tim Pool interviewed one of the prominent leaders of Proud Boys, and Enrique Tarrio, and he was able to clarify again for like the 2000th time or something like that, they are not white supremacists, and was able to clarify a lot of the stance. But how many people are watching that? Tim Pool's got a big channel. He's a great independent journalist, but he's nowhere near as big as any of the big media publications, especially the New York Times. So it's like our word against them. And for my generation, I'm the tail end of I'm like the oldest millennial basically. So I graduated in high school in 2001. My generation is kind of in between. We weren't raised on social media or the internet. We already were adults when those things came out, so we weren't so heavily influenced by them. I think that my generation does have the mental fortitude and the critical thinking skills, but they just are so damn busy that they don't the sources we once trusted, they still trust. And trying to break that is very difficult. For me, it was obvious because I did not enjoy the success like most of my generation did. I was very ill in my 20s and still pretty ill in my early 30s. In fact, the times I was applying for jobs, for actual non-medial jobs, was during the 2009 2008 recession, and also now again I'm trying to return back to tech work, and so I've had plenty of time to grow, to think about things, to explore independent stuff, and they haven't. They've been working all this time. Now what finally kind of broke my barrier was the Democratic primaries of Bernie Sanders versus Clinton. And it was just so obvious that the mainstream media was on Clinton's side. They were doing Bernie all wrong, lying about him and giving him little time. And then what really hit was the scandal when the DNC colluded with Hillary Clinton and basically screwed over Bernie. And it was so hard to watch that it was done in plain view and nothing was really done about it. Nothing was really done about it, and Hillary Clinton got away scot-free. Debbie Weisman Schultz didn't get it, she resigned, but damage was already done. And then, like blind followers, many of the Democratic Party and votership continued to support Hillary, even though they screwed over Bernie. So, and then, now we fast forward to 4 years later, and even Bernie's kind of seems compromised in some ways. Seems like he's sort of pandering more to the far left. So it's like, where do we go, right? It's very frustrating. I'll say again, too, that looking for career jobs, not just menial jobs, through 2 recessions now, 2 really bad recessions, it really each time really drops a person's faith in the system. Obviously, Occupy Wall Street was a symptom of that. People no longer trusted the banks. And we've had these in economic recessions before, like the 1920s. A lot of problems still aren't really fixed. A lot of fundamental problems, inherent problems of capitalism, of too much regulation versus too little regulation. It's all still here, and that's why we see these cyclic recessions every 20 years. This time we had less than 20 because of COVID. But it's like we want to. People that make sense of this all want to address these issues, but we're constantly interrupted by, well, other more frivolous things, more contrived things, and obviously the last one, the most recent one, being identitarian politics. One of the things that really nags me right now is I feel like I'm very qualified for the thing I've been studying for the past 2 years, which is cybersecurity. I have 4 certifications, including one that's already an intermediate level. I've been doing a lot of my own projects which are related. I do have a degree from back in the day when I went to college. But right now is a bad time in general. And then they're asking all these diversity questions on job applications, like your race. And there was even a job posting site called Diversity Jobs. Obviously, we know for an Asian male or probably white male too in tech industry, we're not the diverse, all right? We're not diverse. We are the majority, and I was already discriminated against it back in college, both in college admissions and in college academia, and I have no way of saying for sure that's happening to me now, but given all the atmosphere of things, it definitely eats away at my faith in the system as well because of that. Yeah, it's really frustrating, and I'll leave that for another topic on diversity politics and the efficacy of that. But I'll just say quickly, they're not good. They're not good for society. We've been doing these kind of affirmative action either in policy or in spirit for decades now, and we have the data. We've done the experiment, and the results are not good. Basically, in a nutshell, people who get into positions, either college admissions or jobs, that are purely based off of some demographic, not on their ability, they don't perform well in that, and the failure rate shows. And then, of course, the people that get screwed out of it lose more faith in the system. They may even opt out. I mean, I'm one example of that. I opted out for 7 or 8 years, just doing menial jobs because other factors too. But that was definitely part of the reason. Anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video on that. And what needs to happen is that we need to restore faith in the system altogether. And I'm not really sure how to do that, other than cleaning up corruption in general, cleaning up cronies, cleaning up lobbying. I think corruption is often sidelined for theoretical policies, but corruption always is a major issue. That's what I feel, because of these huge side effects.